Hi, good morning. Today we have a first class on advanced AI, artificial intelligence. Class one is introduction. Um, the definition first of AI isn't just smart software. It is a study of designing intelligence into artificial device. Well, historically, in 1956, the the term was found by John McCarthy, which is called artificial intelligence, to distinguish this artificial intelligence from the field of cybernetics and focusing more on symbolic logic on problem solving. Well, this class sets the stage for moving from commonplace tasks that can be done by human, things human can do naturally without problems, to expert tasks, things that require specialized training. Now, the to move beyond basic information and understand how we design intelligence within artificial devices. So that's the core subject. And the the term artificial intelligence, as I say, was found by McCarthy in 1956. Well, there are two pillars for it. AI is built on intersection of intelligence, the mental faculty, and the artificial design device, which is the physical place or a digital medium. So, can we judge intelligence by human standard or by an absolute standard of perfect behavior? Well, to answer this, we currently judge intelligence by human standards. So, we relate it to human and not by absolute standard of perfect behavior. Now, so in practice, intelligence is goal relative, context dependent, limited by resources, and there is no agreed upon absolute standard, only performance relative to the task and environment. Now, there are four schools of thought. Uh, these schools of thoughts are first, thinking humanly, the cognitive science approach. It's about mimicking the internal software of the human brain, so how brain works, the theory of brain, the process of brain, the operation of brain, how it works. And the second one, actually acting human. So this is represented by a Turing test. Uh, it acts like a human. And the other one, thinking rationally. So this can be represented by reason, laws, and logics. And the last one is acting rationally. So the rational agent approach. So this to be considered to cover robotics. Now, these are the four types that we talked about them. Cognitive is about thought, and Turing is about acting. This one exactly as human does. This one act as human, and this one laws of thought, which is the third school, and this is robotics, acting to achieve the best possible outcome. Now, Turing test, how has been done? It was found by Alan Turing in 1950. It was called imitation game, and you've got interrogator communicates via text with two different entities. One is human, the other one is machine, and interrogator cannot see them, and it sends message to them, and it receives message from both of them, the machine and human. And if he couldn't differentiate which message is which or which message coming from which part, So we can say that Turing test has passed. Now, there's also rational agent and environment in this class. The agent concept. Agent is an entity that perceives its environment through sensors and acts upon them through effectors or actions. Now, there's also performance measures. We do not just want to, we not, we do not just want an agent to act. We want it to act well. Okay, so, and we evaluate its performance. Um, this means that either accuracy, accurate work, uh, speed, performance, and so on and so forth. Bounded rationality. In a perfect world, an agent would calculate every possible outcome. In reality, agents have limited time and memory. So agent, they do work based on their resources. And resources means that their time, their memory, and they are limited. So they must make the best decision possible within those boundaries or within those limitations. Now, modern AI focus on rational agents because they do based on what they have of resources and rationality acting in the best possible manner to achieve a goal. And bounded rationality acknowledging that real-world agents have limited time and computing power. So real-world agents have limited time and computing power. So they must make the best good enough decision. And then there will be evaluation for the decision that they have made. There are different agent architectures. So one of them called stimulus response. This can be represented by if else, if then do this. State-based means that it keeps track of state of the world to handle things it cannot currently see. So based on the state of the world, and it does things that cannot see. There's also goal-directed, deliberative, act specifically to achieve a defined future state. And utility, this means that the agent tries to optimize or maximize its happiness or a mathematical score of scores. Now, trying to give you an example of each. Stimulus response, or called simple reflex. If I see a red light, I stop. If I see a green light, I walk, something like that. State-based agent, these agents remember the past. They track parts, they track parts of environment and they can't see right now. Okay. Goal-directed base agent. These agents have a future target state that they are trying to reach. So as if you want to go from one source to another destination. Utility-based, these agents do not just want to reach the goal, but they're trying to reach the goal with the cheapest way, fastest way, or less cost way. A good example for simple reflex agent or stimulus agent, if temperature less than 20, then turn the heat on, something like that. If temperature greater equal 20, then turn heater off. So state-based agent, if it bumps into a wall, it remembers that the area is blocked. So even when it cannot see the wall anymore, it uses its memory internal state to avoid that direction again. A goal-directed agent, as if you are coming from the airport to Erbil Citadel. So there's a goal-based to achieve or a target to achieve. Utility-based agent, this is kind of um, you reach destination, but it uses the less cost way to achieve it. Okay. Now, there are two types of tasks. Expert tasks that can be done by computer can do these tasks very well. And mundane tasks that can be done by human. Okay, human are doing these tasks with superb performance. For example, navigating a sidewalk or avoiding an object. And there's also expert tasks that can be done by computers. Computers are very good at doing these tasks, such as medical diagnosis, playing chess, or other things. Now, there is also sensory complexity, which is interpreting complex sensory data, and social functions remain a significant hurdle for model of AI. There's an example of SAINT, a program most commonly refers to symbolic automatic integrator. It was one of the early AI system developed in 1960s. There's also easy task versus a hard task. For example, medical diagnosis cannot be easily done by human. It can only be done by expert. Playing chess only can be done by those they are very talented in calculation and math. There's also a common task, which is navigating a crowded street or avoiding object. So this can easily be done by human. Now, when we come to complex sensory data, I mean, if human can easily interpret uh, facial expression, easily I can find out from the tone of the voice, the body language, a person can find, you know, for example, a smile can mean happiness, can mean politeness, can mean sarcasm, can mean nervousness, can mean depending on context. So human easily can understand complex sensory data. There's also social functions, understanding intentions, emotions, cultural norms, social expectations. For example, modern AI can recognize faces or speech patterns, but true social understanding remains unlimited. Uh, in simple terms, AI can detect patterns, but real-world perception is messy, social meaning is subtle, and context changes everything. That gap is what we call sensory complexity. For example, scenario, car. A self-driving car must interpret rain on the windshield, poor lighting at night, a pedestrian particularly hidden behind a parked car, faded road markings. So human easily can understand all these things, can naturally detect all these things. But the AI must process noisy camera images, radar signals, and changing conditions, which makes a perception very complex. So you need to adjust noisy camera images or radar signals and changing conditions, which makes perception very complex for AI. But for human, these things can be easily detected. Now, For example, a social robot in a hospital, a patient says, I'm fine, but their voice sounds weak. Their facial expressions show pain. Their body postures look tense. So a human nurse understands the patient may not actually be fine at that time or perfectly fine, but an AI might detect the words correctly, but interpreting emotion and tension and social meaning is very hard for AI. Now, strong AI, weak AI, applied AI. Strong AI, we talk about cognitive AI. AI can do um, multitask at the same time, and it is more about um, the task is cannot be distinguished from human, so a machine cannot be distinguished from human, so cognitive task. This is not achieved yet. Weak AI means that AI can do a single task at a time and not at the level of human being, so below or lower than human level, and it can do only one task. A good example of ChatGPT or chats, AI chats. Applied AI, this is what we see in the industry, system design for specific commercially viable tasks. For example, facial recognition for building security or facial recognition in general. These are more about strong AI, sometimes called artificial general intelligence. This is not achieved yet because it depends on multitask and the level of intelligence equivalent to human level, and it can do multitask at the same time. Weak AI, a good example is Siri. Siri can answer question, set reminders, recognize speech. Deep Blue, again, a game for chess. These are weak AI. Applied AI, we talked about it, facial recognition, detect faces and things like that. Now, I explained about all this. Now, what human can do what right now, autonomous vehicles. Alvin, 1989, drove 2,800 miles across the US. Games, chess and checkers. This can be done by AI. Scheduling, planning experiments for the Hubble telescope. So these are but the challenges are for human to do robust natural language, truly understanding a newspaper article and things, uh, and more real dynamic planning, kind of a bit difficult. Now, some history about AI. AI was found in 1956. The term was coined by John McCarthy. Deep Blue was 1997, a chess game, beat human at that time. Alvin, 1989, and Mars rover. Uh, there was AI long time ago, 3,000 years ago, ancient myth. There was Talos, the bronze robot of Crete, and Pygmalion's statue. In 1943, McClock and Pitt designed Boolean circuit. In 1956, at Dartmouth conference, uh, the field of artificial intelligence was found. In 1997, we talked about it. The Deep Blue defeats the world champion Gary Kasparov. in chess, and more about that. Stay tuned for the next class. Thank you very much for this class. Appreciate your